Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Quick update for AVAX here, just kind of recapping from the week where we need to be at the end of this week here in order to have any legs to stand on and if this support level here is likely to hold or not. This is a very interesting situation, so we'll clean up the charts, kind of go from there. If you're new to the channel, just ask you quickly hit the like button. Do not forget to subscribe if you get a chance as well. Absolutely appreciate that, and we'll look forward to working with you in the future. So what we want to look at here with AVAX is the liquidation levels, but also those key level supports here. But we do take a look at the liquidation here recently. There's a ton of people shorting right now, and those are probably likely the ones that are going to have some targets on their back here soon. Not to say that AVAX is going to shoot up because of that, but there's a lot of reasons why the market makers probably want to push the price action higher for this to sweep that extra liquidation at about $27. I get the question a lot to explain liquidation and how it works. The truth is, it's not an exact science. It's a very weird and unique thing. It basically tells us where most people are interested in, or where they have their stop losses and or liquidation events that could occur. But it basically incentivizes market makers to push the price action there, because once they sweep all the opposition and there's no more shorts left, they can push the price or drop the price wherever they want. Okay, so a lot of it comes from manipulation, which is basically just greed of them wanting to take massive profits, and they can do so easier when there's less opposition. And they can, and I don't know if you know this, but if you've seen like a short squeeze, for example, when the price hits those levels, the price will continue higher because everyone's forced to sell, and it allows the buy orders to happen quicker, and they can really kind of just get in and get out fast. So it's unfortunate, but it's really consistent, so that's why we look at it. But it also helps us understand like key level supports too, because most people will have a lot of stop losses and or liquidations at key resistances or supports, and those are important here. So if we take a look here, obviously $21 to $22 is a pretty heavy area there that we want to be mindful of, because if we do lose this local support at 24, it would make sense that $22 to $21 would be retested, because we'd probably be on our way down below 60,000 for Bitcoin as well at that point. All right, so again, just some things to kind of think about there, but if we do take a look here, let's go ahead and refresh this guy, and we can see that there isn't a ton of liquidation events occurring here recently. The important thing to recognize is the delta here. There's tons and tons of shorts in play right now. So with more shorts in play, there's more likelihood of the price action continuing higher because of that. But also got to keep in mind there's more selling pressure too, right? So again, that unique little combination. When we look at open interest though, just to recognize last week, we can see the most amount of open interest at 2650. Okay, so there's no 2650 is kind of like that area of interest for most people. So take a look at the daily time frame. Let's recognize where we're at here for the day and or the week. We want to recognize too that we are still kind of respecting this ascending trend line. It's jumping up and down at this point, so it tells us there's a lot of interest at this area. But when we look at the moving averages, that's the important thing. We're over the 20-day SMA. Sorry, we're over the 50 rather. That's this guy right here. Bitcoin performed the exact same way, basically bounced off of that support range. So 25 as a round number, we can presume is a good support for us. But we also have a resistance here at the 20-day SMA. What do you know? Bitcoin has almost the exact same scenario where we're stuck between the 50 key level support and 20 as a tentative short-term bearish resistance. So this is normal stuff here, folks. Again, all the more reason where we see a lot of conflicting information, maybe not the best conditions to trade. Specifically also this being a weekend, I wouldn't recommend necessarily taking a trade unless it's like a coin that looks like it wants to run. For example, we got in a short on Aptos here at about 890, and it's already halfway to our target. But that one is massively overextended. There's a lot of reasons why that coin is due to continue lower. But it's, AVAX has a much different market capitalization. There's a different scenario here. So while I do still think AVAX will pull back, I don't think it's going to be quite as aggressive. The whole point of me mentioning that is just being careful on the weekends, because volatility is higher, volume is lower, and it's always a unique situation when you trade on the weekends. So common rule of thumb, trade Monday through Friday and maybe avoid weekends if you can. I know it sounds hypocritical because I just sent out a trade signal earlier today, but there was a lot of confidence. I've been following that coin for a while, and there's more confluence or confirming factors. So is there anything like that here? Well, daily time frame we rejected off of 50 on the RSI. That's standard for most coins right now. MACD is also diverging. Trend strength is under the 0 line. There's really not a lot of reasons here to consider taking a long position with confidence. And if you've watched me for any length of time, maybe you're new and you don't know this yet, but generally speaking, whenever there is a lot of conflicting information on either direction, like this chart says it's going up, this chart says it's going down, you generally want to just avoid trading altogether. It doesn't make any sense. So the best trade right now is no trade. I know it's so frustrating to watch this guy for 5-10 minutes at a time, and he's just going to tell you that the coin isn't worth trading. But I got news for you folks. That's what professional traders do. And I've been in the industry for 20 years. It's been my full-time job for a very long time. And I can tell you that I survive and sustain the markets because I'm not over trading. That really boils down to it. That's what it boils down to. Another thing too is that patience is not learned overnight. But if you can somehow utilize patience in trading, you're going to find less opportunities. Very true. You're going to miss a ton, but the ones you take are going to be higher success rate. Like for example, again, this is not bragging by any stretch, but we hit like 82% accuracy with our signals last month, and the general consensus is that that's favorable. You want to be able to have that kind of success rate, and I don't care much about the success rate. I like to have the actual longevity and or just consistency, because again, I'm not like making billions of dollars off those trades. I'm just staying consistent, using the same amount every single trade and making sure that I grow the portfolio slowly and steady. That's it. This is not a get rich quick scheme, folks. I hope you understand that. Crypto is definitely not one of those things. I think you got a false representation of that as the case. You're probably watching the wrong Moon Boys. Either way, I'm just going to shoot you straight. 4-hour time frame. Stochastics diverging, we're under 50 on the RSI, never truly broke above. Money flow index is high, but that's a false positive. Please understand, if you are interested in blood diamonds or green dots on some market cipher indicators, they're going to give you some false positives right now because the money flow index is skewed being a weekend, but also more important, we had a lot of volume flowing in Thursday and Friday, today being kind of diminishing. That's going to tell you you actually have a buy signal when it's the inverse. So please understand that this is not a good situation for those kind of indicators, which is why I think you should learn how to use each indication separately instead of utilizing just one size fits all. There is no such thing. Again, you're using too many indicators, which I think those things have way too much going on anyways. You're not going to put yourself in a successful situation. Either way, it's kind of one of those scenarios where you gotta learn to you got to learn to walk before you run. Have you heard of that before? Like imagine a kid just going straight to running without learning to walk. They're going to fall probably pretty hard, right? It's the same scenario. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, don't use all these complex indicators that have a bunch of things doing work for you. If you know the root of everything, you're going to be much more successful. All right, Ichimoku Cloud, we are above the cloud, which is actually quite nice, but lag and span broke free and is now below the price action. That to me is probably one of the biggest indicators, letting us know this momentous trend is discontinuing. What it's telling us now is that you should have secured profits on a long. So again, shame on you if you hadn't taken profits by now. I mean, my personal opinion, I think people hold on for way too long and they get too greedy in this market. We're not in a greedy market. Actually, we are. Unfortunately, the ones that are greedy are the ones that are moving the market however they see fit. We can't be greedy because we need to survive. We're basically just eating the crumbs that they leave behind, right? So it's important to recognize that you got to secure profits whenever possible. I talked with my community member earlier today. They were asking about securing profits and how to best do that. If you're in profit, adjust your stop loss higher. Basically, 50% of the way to your take profit target is roughly a good estimate there. So if your take profit target is 5% up, then you want to go 2.5 with your stop loss. Okay, so again, there's interesting ways you can do that, and I know you're not going to secure more profit by doing that, but you're going to secure less profit more often, and it's still beneficial. You're also going to learn a lot too and develop a good risk tolerance, which people seem to forget is an important factor to trading. Okay, anyways, the whole takeaway here is that the lagging spans below the price action, the conversion line and the baseline have flipped, basically letting us know the momentum has shifted, and we are testing the cloud. So this really tells us we're not really in a good position to take a trade, but the truth is if we close below this support at 25.50, I think there's a solid consideration for the price action to continue lower. So my guess is we'll see something like this as a potential reality, or the opposite could occur too, right? It could potentially break here, but the likelihood of that is pretty low. Honestly, whenever you have a pattern that's forming like this, establishing lower highs and parallel lows, the likelihood of breaking down is much higher because it's retesting that lower support level and inevitably will break it. We've only seen one test here so far, and we look at Bitcoin as very similar in stature. So I think that we're in a situation right now where it's not like an optimal situation in either direction, but it does still feel like Bitcoin's going to pull back, and if that does happen, AVAX will pull back as well. It's also pulling back much harder. And it's also forming a bearish type of flag pattern here too. And this is not, again, exact science, but you can kind of see this guy right there telling us that, hey, further downside, it seems a lot more likely at this point. And again, bear flags originate from the bottom, come up like this, and continue higher. Correction, I'm sorry, that's a bull flag. I misspoke, bull flag. So again, conflicting information no matter how you look at it, right? Either way, with this point, I would not recommend taking a trade. There's no other way around it. So again, bull flag or not, triangle, parallel triangle pattern. The key takeaway here is that the majority of these things are shifting bearish for most coins. And with Bitcoin kind of being on the edge of pulling back, albeit a weekend, I still don't really trust this here. Okay, so again, a few different scenarios exist here. I'll clean up the chart and post our playout chart here in our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Future reference, I have this available here so you kind of see my analysis on coins and where I think they're going to go next. It's all available for you there. So cryptocash.tech is also the site if you want to become a better trader. We've got a lot of community members coming over to watch my university videos. Those are available for those members there if you're curious. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Last but not least, Bitunix is offering a trading bonus, deposit bonus, basically. So if you use the link below to register, or had used my link ever, this is mainly for my community members, then you have the opportunity to be able to take advantage of that. So link down below, check it out. It's an awesome opportunity. Thank you so much again for watching, folks. Look forward to seeing the next one. Take care.